All right, Shalom. All right, to start out saying Ka, Halayim, La Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Havakakadash, Ma'amah. Double honor to the elder apostles of the great millstone of my elder Harold one as well. Salutations to the Akim on the pushing the truth, the sincerity and truth. And peace and blessings to the men, women, and children that believe in the name of Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. All right, I'm Kalak Sa'ama, Yasha'al for the Lions Den Yasha'al camp. And this is another Lions Den news and prophecy, man. This is dealing with, I did a lesson yesterday talking about how Russia has United States and Europe in their crosshairs for nuclear war. And so I stumbled across that article, a bit of an article today, and it says NATO has said it would not use nuclear weapons first in a conflict. All right, what deterrent does this leave? All right, and somebody's response to the article was like, "You are 100% wrong. Not only has NATO always rejected a no first use or NFU policy, the 1972 guidelines call explicitly for a first use policy. They are literally called the first strike guidelines." All right. So now, with that being said, of course they would be following after that policy because they initially have already done that. You know, before I get into exactly what I'm saying about that is when you think about NATO or you're speaking about NATO, you automatically got to go ahead and put America in the mix, the United States in the mix, ultimately, because the spokesperson for NATO are Americans like presidents, like your boy, what's it? I get it wrong. Let me find out. The elder did a lesson on it. I think it was Eisenhower, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. Okay, yeah, it was Eisenhower. All right. Okay. It's Dwight D. Eisenhower. All right. So the first strike. Let's go back to this article. Okay. So so when you're thinking about NATO, you already got to put America and also the European Union in the mix also. But specifically right here, I want to talk about America and its alliance with NATO and vice versa. What this first strike guidelines, and the first strike guidelines it says is a nuclear strategy. A first strike or preemptive strike is a preemptive surprise attack exploring overwhelming force. All right. First strike capability is a country's ability to defeat another nuclear power by destroying its arsenal to the point where the attacking country can survive the weakened retaliation, while the opposing side is left unable to continue war. All right. The preferred methodology is to attack the opponent's strategic storage depots first. This strategy is called counter force. All right. So now, with that being said, America has already done the first and only strike. America has done the first and only strike. All right, because Where's it at? All right. So now, as a matter of fact, I want to go to the scriptures real quick. There's Revelation 13 and 11. And it says, I beheld another beast came up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. Right. And right. So that's when you got America being formed, and the division of separation in America, right? And them speaking as a dragon, they had Eisenhower speaking for NATO, and they're pushing the European values, man, like the draconian measures, like the system of the beast, right? And it says, and he exercises the power of the first beast before him, and causes the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. So this is like Rome being rebuilt all over again through America, NATO, and the European Union. All right, and I'm getting to the point. It says, and deceiveth. Hold on. Right, verse 13. This is the point. It says, and he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. Right, and America has been the only nation to do that. Right, so they've already brought forth the preemptive strike, because now everybody knows America will do it. So, and they can't now. They realize they can't really trust America. I don't think that any of these nations never really trusted America. They were just getting rich off the dollar, and just keeping a close eye, just feeding America with a long handled spoon as much as they could. But when they let the dollar take control, they pretty much have America throwing his own weight around. You had to do what America said, But now, America is losing its hegemony in the earth, and so what you're witnessing happening is these nations are going to start calling America's bluff, right? And America's going to eventually have to do something. Now, I'm not sure. I'm not sure who's going to start shooting these missiles off according to the scriptures, but it would make sense if America shot them first, shot their little bit of arsenals, and everybody turned on America and shot theirs towards America. Because America's going to be shooting off. Don't think that America's just going to be bombed and that's it. America's going to be setting it off too. And that's why the Lord says he's going to shoot at her. Spare no arrows, man. Let me get that real quick. Okay. All right. This is Jeremiah 50 and 14. It says, put yourselves in array against Babylon round about. All you that bend the bow, shoot at her, spare no arrows, for she has sinned against the Lord. Right? So he's sinned against the Lord because he's the destroyer of the heritage of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. And he's become fat from destroying us. Right? As a matter of fact, let me get that. In verse 11, it says, because ye are glad, because ye rejoice, O ye destroyers of my inheritance, because ye have grown fat as a heifer at grass, and bellows as bulls. Your mother shall be sore confounded. Right. So not only so NATO's gonna turn in against America, man. And your mother shall be sore confounded. She that bare you shall be ashamed. Right. So the Lord's gonna listen, man. The Lord's going to denuclearize the whole earth, man. The majority of those missiles are going to hit right here in America. You know, so so nuclear warfare. Let's go to the history of nuclear warfare. It says during the final stages of World War II in 1945, the United States conducted atomic raids on the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The first on August 6, 1945, and the second on August 9, 1945. These two events, oh, and think about it. The crazy part about it, after the first one dropped, Japan surrendered. But they wanted to keep their same regime. They surrendered, but they wanted to keep their same regime. And America said no. America said, hell no. And they were still surrendering, but they bombed them people again anyway, man. They bombed them people again anyway. All right, it says just these two events were the only time nuclear weapons have been used in combat. You see that? And Xi Jinping a few months ago was at some like Asian Economic Community summit, to where he spoke on the irony of the United States introducing the world to nuclear weapons, and basically insinuating that that's how America is going to be destroyed. And that's exactly how it's written in the scriptures, man. All right? So in 1945 is when this happens, right? And then boom, what do you have happens right after that? 4 years after that, 1949. You got the formation of Nato. See that? So all right, so in 1949, NATO was formed. All right, was founded, and you had a spokesperson, Dwight Eisenhower. I think he had a famous speech or something like that. Yeah. So as far as NATO saying they won't strike first, that's like you should be on the playground, like no, come here, I ain't gonna hit you, and then you let your guard down and come over there, and then they hit you. That's the game America's trying to play. But these other nations, just like I did the lesson yesterday, you know what I'm saying? These other nations, man, like Russia, they got America and NATO in the crosshairs, so they're gonna have to do something. Because Yahweh Shem Shai is bringing the thunder, man. He's the one mustering up the host for the battle. He's the one putting the spirit on these other nations and putting the spirit on America too, to conduct themselves the way they're conducting themselves, man. All for His will, all for His glory, all to show His power, man. All right, Lord, when this lesson was edified to serve His purpose, that like I said, Kal Halayim, La Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem Havakak Kadash Ma'amah. Double honor to the elder apostle, the great millstone, and my elder Harold one as well. Salutations to the oxen that are pushing this truth and sincerity and truth. And peace and blessing to the women and children that believe in the name of Yahweh Shem Shai. Shalom.